2024 was a really great year for film, as I think it was so good to the point where it was very hard to make this list. But there's a catch to all that statement that I said. There was a lot of great films that came out this year, but some of these films weren't as successful in the box office, and yet they were really incredible films. In other cases, some films were only in theaters for a short run and were critically praised, but found their successes on streaming platforms. Now, look, that's not saying a film, wasn't cared about as much. That's just because, hey, marketing. Marketing really makes a film as big as what it should be. And let me tell you, some of the marketing for films this year that were really great didn't have a lot of marketing. But to me, I think 2024 will go down as a great year for film, but I think in the near future, it will be talked about in a way where we should appreciate it more. And I took my time with deciding which films belonged on this list, as it was really hard to make this list. I almost included Daft Punk's Interstellar 5555 as I saw the film in theaters and had a great experience with it. But the film didn't come out this year, so I can't include it. I wanted to make this list very genuine, like I do with all the lists that I make. But this one needed to feel more genuine, as I had to actually sit down and think of what I thought were the best, which films left me with a great feeling, which films had me actually stand up, clap, and express my gratitude in the end. And these are those films, and there's going to be some mild spoiler warnings, as I might get into that territory. This is my fifth year making this list. I've been making these lists since the pandemic. Am I old yet? I'm pushing 30. Oh, God. Enough about me. Enough about that. Let's talk about why we're here. Movies of 2024 that were amazing. To me, at least. And maybe to others. If you don't agree with my list, hey, to each their own. Anyway, let's get down to the brax taxes. Let's count down my top 10 best films of 2024. This is a very controversial pick for number 10. But you know what? I was very proud of this movie. I'm very happy this movie was successful. And I'm very happy a lot of people actually really like it. It's a great film. But I'm also a fucking freak, so here you guys go. You know this movie beat out Joker Folie à Deux in the box office? That's fucking crazy. Do you know it's the highest unrated film ever, earning $89 million? Did you know that? I bet you did. You know why? Because you're a fucking loser. And you know shit. I'm sorry. I'm just letting out my anger from Joker Folie à Deux. Still, sorry. But Terrifier 3 was amazing. Damien Leone's directing, really good. The acting in this movie, hey, it's no Oscar wherever you're acting, but you know what? It's pretty impressive compared to the last two films. Lauren Lavera, who played Sienna in this movie, she was incredible. Art the Clown, David Howard Thornton, incredible. The grotesque and beautiful killing scenes in this movie. Oh, somebody pinch me. I must be dreaming. I'm having a fucking orgasm from horror. It's so great. It was so fucking great. I love the scene where Victoria is in the abandoned house with Art the Clown, and she starts shoving her up shard of glass in her You know what? The less you know, the better, because it's very grotesque and very just gory, and I loved it. This movie was great. I'm really proud of this movie franchise, how well it has changed over the years, but also how much it has grown. The horror community and also independent film community should be very proud of this movie and Damien Leone and David Howard Thornton. This was a great film, and I know it's a very controversial pick for number 10, but you know what? I had to express my love for not just Art the Clown and the Terrifier franchise, but this movie, as it was really good, and yeah, I just love every minute about it. This movie was spectacular. Oh my god. I didn't think I would love a biopic about SNL. And let me tell you something, Saturday Night Live is not as great as what it used to be back then. But it's been a fixture in television since 1975, and it's about to hit its 50th year. It's actually in its 50th year. Holy shit. Now, this film tells the story of what went on before the cameras began to roll in Rockefeller for the first ever episode for SNL. And I have to say, it was done very well. Gabriel LaBelle, learn the name, get used to the name. His performance as Lorne Michaels, incredible. He was amazing in The Fablemans, but he really stood out in this film and made himself a future household name in Hollywood. The rest of the cast was also incredible. Corey Michael Smith playing Chevy Chase, he was great. Dylan O'Brien's performance as Dan Aykroyd, he was great. Nicholas Braun playing Andy Kaufman and Jim Henson, mind fucked, amazed, great fucking job. Now I thought the film as a whole was incredible, as I love how it's edited and how well the camera work is throughout the film. I also love the costume designs for each character, as they look like the actual person. It's insane how fucking lifelike they look. Like they really look like Chevy Chase, John Belushi. The list goes on and on. It's very believable. Um, I think this film just did justice for SNL, as it told its story for its first night very well, and I found more respect for SNL, as back then it had to have been hard to put together a live telecast of a comedy show with skits and not much time to put everything together. And honestly, I really love how well this film did. It was also just one of those films that didn't do well in the box office because bigger films came out around that time, like Beetlejuice to Wild Robot, and didn't get a lot of huge traction. But hey, I'm giving its due and expressing my love for it because live from New York, it's Saturday night! I had to do that. Late Night with the Devil is great for many reasons, but there's one true reason why it makes it great. Obviously, David Dismalshin's performance in this film was great. The horror in this movie, the built up tension, was great. The 4:3 aspect ratio with color during the telecast scenes to the behind the scenes moments where we go to widescreen and black and white was great. Also, a great editing style. Very smart on the director's end. The cinematography was great. The fact that the story itself is about a talk show host trying to bring a show back to the glory days and save its ratings, but in order to do so, he has to bring in a medium and a possessed 13-year-old girl. That's great! What makes this movie great is the attention to detail. This film really did well with attention to detail. Its tension of horror throughout the film is amazing. Its foreshadowing in this film is amazing. Leaving me shook was amazing. And let me tell you something. If you're leaving me shook in a horror movie, you know you're doing your job. And you're doing your job right. As it makes it a good horror film, but it's also leaving me with an impression that I can't forget. I think this film 10 years down the line will heavily be talked about and become more beloved as it did in 2024, but I think it will be heavily appreciated more in the future. This was a really great scene. This was a really great movie, and I think this film itself maybe might get nominated, might not for the Oscars. I don't know. I didn't want to see this movie at first, but you know what happened? I did. My friends wanted to watch it. I was like, fuck it. I'll watch. And I loved it. This was a great film. I'm really happy that I got to see it. This was actually the last film I saw for 2024 films. And I just had to include it on this list. It was so incredible. Inside Out 2 really had a fucking beautiful story. You know, we could talk about how great the animation is, the voice cast is, whatever. They all were great. But the one thing about Inside Out 2 that really hit me was how well it dealt with anxiety. Anxiety in this movie is really put together well by the filmmakers, as they use her character as a way to not only make Riley feel the emotions, but also the viewers watching the film. Plus, some of the viewers that are watching this film were like 7 or 8 or teenagers back when Inside Out came out back in 2015, and now that the second one came out, they're probably graduating high school or college or adulting. And credit where credit is due, I really felt this movie so much because as someone who has gone through anxiety and still goes through it from his day-to-day life, I really understand how hard it must make someone feel and the pressures it puts you in. Like, think of it like this. The filmmakers make this bluntly clear in the film that this film is going to be for everyone. And the way they do it is by having this character anxiety. A character that makes you go through hardships as a teenager or even a young adult. We all go through anxiety in our own ways, and how our emotions react to it makes us the person we become. But the filmmakers knew that the key element in this movie that would make it amazing and beautiful and great was anxiety. And I love how well it was used in this movie. Plus, A, $1.7 billion in the box office. is pretty fucking top notch to make it the highest grossing film of the year and the highest grossing animated film ever. So that's pretty cool too. But what makes this movie beautiful and great is anxiety, is how well they dealt with it. I kind of want a third Inside Out film because I want to see what's next for Riley and all of her emotions. I want to see where that story ends. So here's hoping for that. And just one more. We don't want like Toy Story franchise where it'll probably never end. Thelma was a very great movie. Like, holy crap. I did not expect this movie to be so great. June Squibb, at 94 years old, by the way, in her first leading role. This is her first leading role? 94? How long has she been in the fucking game? Because holy shit, she is so funny and fucking amazing in this movie. She's so cute. I love her. I love Richard Roundtree in this movie too. This is his final film. Rest in peace, my man. But the whole experience for this movie was amazing. Because I watched it on a flight to Orlando. I'm not complaining. I loved every minute of it. I thought this film was great from seeing it in the trailer. It's so funny. Such a funny film. I was dying of laughter in some scenes. Didn't expect it, but also I was crying by the end of the film. Wasn't expecting that either. It left me in tears because I don't want to give away the ending, but I feel like we kind of have to talk a little bit about it. There's a moment with the grandson Thelma. It touched my heart, and I let out a few tears on the airplane. But pretty much, she was talking to her grandson about not being there always. Eventually she won't be there, and I was like, damn, that fucking hit me. Like that left an impact with me. Like holy shit, I lost my grandmother back in 2017, so that shit really hit me back then, and it's hitting me now, even watching the movie. But also, my grandfather is like, I think the same age as June Squibb, and he's not gonna be around for long. So shit. Love your grandparents is what I'm saying. Spend as much time as you can with them. But this movie was so fucking fantastic. It was so funny. Everyone in this movie was great. Oh man, I really love the message and the story itself. If you haven't seen this independent film, by the way, because yes, it's an independent film that's based off a true story, did not realize it. This actually happened to the director's grandmother in the film. Whatever happened to this film, so I'm just saying, really crazy to learn. Go check it out. It's on Hulu. It's a great film. I highly appreciate it. Yeah, hope you relate to it as well as I did. Oh, hello there. You're probably not going to understand this bit because it's only on Steven's Instagram. But hey, Deadpool here talking about his own movie because me and Wolvie did such an amazing job at this movie. Oh, that hunka Hugh Jackman. I love him so much. Isn't this a great way for our first time to be on the big screen together? It's not. We mean Wolverine's origins. We don't talk about that film. Get out of here. Get out of here. Shoo. We're talking about Deadpool and Wolverine. The one movie the MCU needed to give it a total makeover it needed because everything about it is literally Joker folia, dude. That's right, it's shit. This movie was amazing. Everything about it was amazing. Ryan Reynolds, oh, he played me so well. And Hugh Jackman as Wolvie, oh, puts it on their back. They do so great. But then there was also the action scenes that were very incredible. The kills, ooh, they were fucking fantastic. And then the soundtrack, Madonna's Living Like a Prayer, yes. But of course, the main title song that we're hearing right now, Bye Bye Bye, amazing itself, so great. And of course, we can't talk about this movie without talking about spoilers and breaking the fourth wall. So we're going to do that anyway. Gambit was amazing. Channing Tatum finally got to play Gambit. It took 10 years, but hey, whatever. We loved it. Thank you, Disney. Thank you for the money. Wesley Snipes says, Blade? What? Disney knew they can't make a real Blade movie because everything they've been trying to make this film was terrible. So hey, they gotta bring Wesley Snipes back from the dead. We love it. Chris motherfucking Evans as Johnny Storm. Mr. Brooklyn Captain America's playing Johnny Storm in this movie? I'm literally what? If there's one more huge character in this movie, I might fucking lose it. Dogpool? Surprises! Yeah, I may have loved my own movie a little too much, but it's wet everywhere. Oh god, all jokes aside, Steven saw this movie about 3 times in theaters in 1 week. What a fucking loser, right? Oh my god, that's how phenomenal this movie was. And honestly, I can't wait and hopefully possibly have another sequel for Deadpool franchise. Hey, it's a nostalgia film and fanfare, but you know what? Who gives a shit? It's still better than that Sonyverse whatever they're putting out with, and of course that bullshit Crow movie. And let's not even talk about that one clown movie one of ours puts out. We're still better. Anyway, hope you enjoyed my movie. I don't know what makes the substance great. Is it the body horror part of it or the deeper messages it has in it? Obviously, the deeper messages that I saw for this movie is damages of substance abuse and also loving yourself. But I mean, then you got the body horror. I mean, who doesn't love a good body horror? I know I definitely fucking loved it. I love this movie entirely from beginning to end. It's a slow burn at first, but then it really picks up after 20 minutes. It's really fucking fun. It's a really great movie. I thought Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley were fantastic. They really carried this movie. Also, Dennis Quaid was funny in this movie. And I don't even think he was trying to be. He was that fucking good in this film. I love the practical effects in this movie. Oh my god. I'm a huge fan of practical effects. Yes, CGI is great, but practical, top notch, fantastic. Love it. Fucking this film had it amazing. The hair and makeup was also just amazing. There's gonna be a lot of nominations for this movie in the Oscars. I'm just saying, this might be one of the biggest nominated films entirely for the whole year. Just saying. This was a great film. I didn't know much about it, but thanks to word of mouth and social media, I got to learn about this movie, and I then decided to watch this movie, and thank God I did. It's fantastic. If you haven't seen The Substance yet, you should, but be prepared. There's some gory scenes in it, a little bit more gory than Terrifier, if you ask me, in some scenes. But I still think it's an incredible movie. The makeup of this movie was very incredible. I said that already. I think I'm blanking out on what I'm saying anymore. Holy shit! I said everything a reason why this movie is great. So you just go check it out because then I will stop me from talking so we can get to the next movie. This movie's great. Go see it. The Substance, fantastic film. What is this feeling so sudden and new? I felt the moment I laid eyes on you. Wicked was amazing, was so fucking beautiful. I love Wicked. What is this feeling? I cannot get away. TikTok was taken over by Wicked. Oh, I love this movie. Can you not tell I love this movie? I wasn't gonna see this movie in theaters, but then I did. I was talked into it to see this movie in theaters. I was just gonna watch it all on my laptop, and I'm happy I saw it in theaters because it was beautiful. It was great. The visuals were great. The set design was amazing. The hair and makeup was great. The acting in this movie, all the characters, all the cast was amazing. But give props to where props are due. Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande playing Elphaba and Linda were Oscar noms. Even better, they deserve it fucking all. They didn't win in the Golden Globe still, but they still deserve it fucking all. And then you have the music. Oh my god. I'm not a fan of the musical, but maybe I am now. I don't know. But this fucking movie, I love the music. Popular is a fucking hit and a bop. Overplayed on TikTok a bit, but it's still a fucking bop. What is this feeling? My favorite song of the whole fucking movie. It's a hit. It's a bop. Dancing Through Life, a hit. Could be overplayed a bit more on TikTok, but it's also a bop. And then you have Defy Gravity. Such an impactful song and an impactful scene. Probably the best scene of the whole fucking movie. Like, and I know the movie has to be stretched out. The first part of the play has to be stretched out into this movie with the two parts. I get it. I see the vision. But there are a couple of tiny issues that I do see with that vision. Number one, trim 10 minutes out of this movie because I get we're trying to milk a two-part film here, but you could have trimmed 10 minutes. But that's not the biggest issue. It's the lighting. The lighting in some scenes is very noticeably bad. It's there's too much shadows in some setting, in some sets, and then on some characters during the musical parts. Let's get rid of some of the lighting a bit for the next one, which will probably be a bit more darker since I think the second part is a bit darker, so either way, in the end, Wicked was such a beautiful film. It's one of the best films of the year, and I'm happy I got to see this movie at theaters. Twice. Yeah, I'm a musical nerd now, I guess. Whatever. I'm not gonna lie. Number one and number two could be flip-flopped a bit. But I'm happy with what I got, and we're keeping it this way. The Wild Robot is a beautiful animated film and probably the best animated film of the year. My heart was touched by this film. The whole film, I was touched by it. The animation in this movie from beginning to end is stunning, and the musical score really breaks through this animation as it gives it more depth and brings the animation to life. The voice cast is fantastic. The the everything about this movie, the storytelling is just it's so perfect. And the craziest thing is, I think this movie might actually get nominated for Best Picture. There's only been 3 animated movies to ever get nominated for Best Picture: Up, Beauty and the Beast, and Toy Story 3. And I think DreamWorks might finally get their very first big Oscar nom for an animated film. And this was just a perfect film. I honestly wish I saw this movie in theaters like I planned on doing, but I couldn't find the time, and that might be my biggest regret for this year when enjoying some of my favorite films of the year, because I would have loved to see this beautiful animated film on the big screen, because I bet it would have looked so gorgeous in IMAX or RPX or 4DX, wherever the hell you want to watch it on. It would have looked gorgeous. This movie had such beautiful storytelling that I fucking was bawling my eyes out in the end. It was that perfect and beautiful. The Wild Robot to me kind of felt like rewatching Wally. Like honestly, it felt that great. It was a very beautiful, perfect movie that had some dialogue, but it really relied on its animation. And my goodness, it was so fucking perfect. It was so beautiful. Robert Eggers, you fucking dog. This movie was amazing. It took 100 plus years to get Nosferatu on the big screen again, and Robert Eggers hit a fucking home run with this movie. It's so perfect. In my eyes, it's perfect. 'Cause I know it's got some mixed reviews from other people that think it's too fucking long. Hey, it's called tension for a reason. This movie is terrifying. It's haunting. It has tiny jump scares, not jump scares, but tiny jump scares that still got me. There are moments that shouldn't have gotten me that got me. There are moments that I'm watching this movie and I'm thinking, oh, shit's about to happen, shit's about to happen. I'm on the edge of my seat, fucking scared for my life, because this movie's horror was so perfect and done right. Bill Skarsgård, oh my god, just Jesus Christ, he is terrifyingly just amazing in this movie, but he also is terrifying in this film. You can feel Nosferatu's presence every fucking time he's on that screen, or when he's even close to being on the screen. You could feel his presence while watching it in the theater. I'm just saying that you're on your seat, you can feel his presence. I saw this movie in RPX. Best decision of my life, because it was fucking gorgeous. The cinematography in this movie is gorgeous. The lighting in this movie is gorgeous. I love the camera work in this movie too, just like how set designs and pieces are in this film, and how well like the film is camera angles are. It's so good. I don't want to say music on sound because I'll get clipped. The musical score is great. The makeup and practical in this movie, the practical effects. Oh my god! It's like, bro, it's that fucking good. It's that fucking good. Nosferatu looks terrifying, except for that funny little mustache. But that's that's the only fucking thing I'm just like, it's a little weird, but it's still scary. Lily Rose Depp was fucking fantastic in this movie. Her, Bill Skarsgård, I think kind of carried the film, but at the same time, I can't even say that because Nicholas Hoult was great. Uh, Willem Dafoe, as always, was fucking perfect and great. Everyone in this movie was fucking great, honestly. Robert Eggers took this fucking IP and made it his own, and then some. You know what the crazy thing is? Like I said, it's been over 100 years since Nosferatu had an actual like film. This is maybe for some people their first introduction for Nosferatu. For many others, like myself, it was that one episode of SpongeBob. And that's just the original character from the original film. The way Robert Eggers put this movie together, it was just done so perfectly. It was amazing. It's beautiful. It's terrifying. It has so much aura for horror. Every little detail in this movie was perfection. And love it or not, if you think it's just okay, or you just was like 6 out of 10, whatever, you could fucking all agree that this movie was fucking done perfectly well. There's not. I can't think of anything wrong in this with this movie. Yes, it's slow burning. Yes, it takes its time to get to where we have to go to the end, but it is done so perfect. And to me, this is the best film of 2024. We're finally done with the best list. I could probably do honorable mentions, but I'm not gonna do that because the honorable mentions are usually the first few films I show in the intro. So we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna end our video here. Thank y'all for watching. And why are we showing Disney World again? What is happening? Why are words coming up? Excuse me? Hello? What is all this? What is this? What is this? Oh. Oh boy. Oh gosh. See y'all real soon.